Do you have a love-hate relationship with sobriety, much like you had a love-hate relationship with alcohol? Welcome to the Sober Shed. Hi, I'm Dawn, I'm booze-free and I'm bewildered. I thought I was bewildered about alcohol, but it turned out actually I'm bewildered about sobriety because I have a very straightforward relationship with alcohol. I have done for a very long time, about 25 years, and it's this. Alcohol is predictable. It does what you want every single time without question. And for me, that meant every joyous occasion, every celebration, every commiseration, and everything else in between basically felt the same because it felt like alcohol. So I am a hardened drinker of the truly British variety. I started drinking at 15 in the park, obviously, with my friends, and took to it like a duck to water, and the rest is basically history. Alcohol basically just wove its way into the tapestry of my life, and it became very normal or normalized until it was everywhere. It was in every nook and cranny of my life all the time, not in a way that would ever seem unusual or out of place. In fact, in Britain, it seemed just like I was any other person. And I never had any rock bottoms. I never lost a job. I never hurt anybody. I was never made homeless or anything like that. Um, but, it certainly didn't do me any favors either. And by the time I decided to take a break from drinking, which was in January 2024, it was definitely time. I stopped drinking then because I had a health scare that turned out to be nothing. I didn't drink for 7 months, then had some drinks, nothing too crazy, but I did drink after that. And it was fine and moderate until we got to Christmas last year when, well, that's what I'll probably talk about in one of my first videos, what happened in Christmas last year. Anyway, get to January 2025. This year I have been what I would call dry-ish. I've had one drink, which was at my mum's 70th birthday. And, I can have that one drink and it doesn't lead to chaos. What it does do though is just gradually open the door back up for alcohol to come back into my life in the way that it was before, which is something that I definitely don't want. But for the longest time, yeah, alcohol was always there, and it leveled out everything emotionally, which obviously is what we love alcohol for. So the bad times didn't feel so bad, the good times didn't feel so great, but that's sort of that's the trade-off, isn't it, with alcohol? So it makes just everything kind of feel very samey. And when I look back on the past 25 years, that unfortunately really is how it feels to me now. It feels like everything was just sort of just flat across the board because it all was just alcohol. The predictability of alcohol, I think, was something that I always really liked, because for some people, alcohol is the opposite. It creates this chaos and drama and unpredictability in their lives, which is something that they later miss, or that they sometimes wish that they could have back, because sobriety can feel a bit flat and meh. But for me, it was the opposite. I liked how flat and meh alcohol made everything feel. So in sobriety, all of a sudden there was a whole host of things that came up. But here's the thing. No one ever told me that I had to stop drinking, and no one ever said that my health was suffering. Like I said, I had that health scare, but it turned out to be completely unrelated and I was fine. And no disasters ever happened. And it kind of leaves me now feeling like I don't know if I want to drink again or not. The only rule that I have in place for myself is I won't drink at all until I get some clarity on this. And I'll try my best not to confuse temptation with clarity, because they present as the same thing, right? Which is another confusing element in all this. So on this channel, what are we not going to talk about? I'm not going to be listing the top 10 reasons for quitting alcohol. I'm not going to be telling you how great your skin is going to look or how amazing the sleep is, because you know it all already. We all know it. I'm also not going to be talking about how horrendous withdrawal is. I haven't had that experience, so it's not mine to talk about. What I'm going to be talking about is this messy middle ground, this place where we don't want to drink, but we don't not want to drink. And we kind of love sobriety on the one hand and kind of hate it on the other. I mean, there's no denying that there are days when it's wonderful, when I feel strong, fit, healthy, and life is just hunky dory. And then there are other days when I just feel petulant and annoyed that I don't have this in my life and I don't understand where and when this hard and fast rule came in that I wasn't drinking. This rule that I have sort of enforced upon myself, by the way. And the thing is, many people who are close to me have said, and they're right, you can drink whenever you want. There doesn't have to be a label on this. And for me, there isn't, although I suppose I'm rapidly creating them sitting here saying this stuff. But there is no hard and fast rule about me not drinking. When I had a drink at my mum's birthday, that wasn't a relapse. That was just, well, I had a drink that day because it said that I was never drinking again. So it does leave you in this kind of limbo. And I'm hoping that on this channel, I'm going to meet like minded people who are also in this boat where you kind of feel like you don't know if you want to drink again or if you don't want to drink again. So, it's like, am I just overreacting to this whole thing? Surely a drink would be fine. There's a lot of that kind of stuff that comes into it. At the same time, you kind of know in the back of your head that you're better off not drinking because that makes sense. Probably everybody would be better off not drinking. And that's not me coming from a alcohol is poison point of view. It's just it doesn't actually really bring anything to anyone's lives. Apart from the massive social side of it, which as you can see, this is where I start to bounce back and forth in my own head. So to stop me from rambling on too much on this channel, I have broken it down already into a series of videos that I'm going to make to cover many of these issues that have come up for me and that I feel sure must have come up for other people as well. So I am planning to upload one video a week where I'll be covering each of these various issues that I've encountered, my thoughts and feelings on it, some stuff from my own life, and also just some general sort of musings to hopefully meet some people who, I'm not here to give any advice. I don't feel like I have very much to give. I'm more here in a kind of reaching out way, I suppose. I would really like to meet someone who says, yeah, I totally get what you say, because it does seem like the world of sobriety is full of very certain people, people who are very sure and solid on their sobriety, which is amazing. I love to see that, especially because there are so many people who just can't drink. And I've seen, read, and experienced a lot of those stories, and they just always just touch me so much, and I think that those people are absolutely incredible. That's not me though. That's not my story, and that's not where I'm at. And it is just a kind of confusing place. I feel like it's not the same thing as being sober curious. Sober curious has always sounded to me like a little bit more of a sort of fun, free, and easy thing. Like, oh, I guess I'll go see if I enjoy sobriety. And it certainly doesn't feel like that from where I'm sitting. There's been nothing fun, free, or easy about it. There's been quite a lot of the opposite. There's been a lot of tears and stress and angst along the way. So yeah, that's what this channel is really going to be all about anyway. And like I said, I'm hoping that through making these videos, I will just find some clarity on this, and be able to make my mind up one day whether or not I will drink again. And if with enough time, alcohol will become something else in my life. I don't know what that would be. I can't imagine what that could be. But I had no idea what sobriety was going to look like for me as I sort of bumbled my way through it anyway. I still wouldn't describe myself necessarily as being completely sober. If anyone asked me, do I drink? I would say I'm not drinking at the moment. That's where I'm at. And that's what I have been saying now for quite a long time. I can't quite bring myself to say, no, I don't drink. I will never drink again. I can't say that. I I don't even know if I wish that I could. I just want to be more comfortable with whichever way this is going to go. So let's find out. Please do bear with me in the quality of these videos and with me on camera as well. I have never had a YouTube channel before. I've actually never done any kind of social media before. I'm one of those weirdos, I suppose, who just never joined anything. You know, I never did like MySpace back in the day. Facebook completely passed me by, and you know the social media world has just sort of exploded around me, and I have very little idea exactly what I'm doing. Like right now, today, I'm literally just sitting in my shed talking, and I just ask for some patience because I think I'm going to make quite a few blunders, and I feel very aware of not wanting to kind of say the wrong thing as well. You know, I don't want to offend anybody. So at the moment, I feel like I'm sort of picking my words quite carefully, but I'm hoping that I will just ease into this and sort of loosen up into it, I suppose, and can kind of find my flow and get a bit more confident talking about this stuff, because it's really hard to talk about. It's really hard to say some of this stuff out loud on your own in a room, let alone knowing that other people are going to hear it. You know, I'm going to be sitting in here saying things to you guys that I have never said out loud to anyone before. There's a lot of stuff that I have barely admitted to myself that I'm now going to sit here and put on the internet. So yeah, I feel quite vulnerable, I suppose, but also like, well, why not? Because I do get a sense that I can't be as alone in this feeling as it sometimes seems like I am. And if there's any good then that can come out of this, it would just be maybe you watching this, maybe you also just have times where you feel like some people are like well sure and certain in their sobriety, and that's not me. And other people are just, you know, drinking and just enjoying their lives and they don't seem to care, and that's not me either. So yes, that's it for this first video. Thank you so much for watching, for joining me here, and hopefully I will see you again in the next video. Thanks. Bye.